Okay, without further ado, my friends, let's get to the mat. So please take your place lying on the back. Let's begin in constructive rest. Soles of the feet to the floor, knees bent. Elbows bent. Palms resting on the belly or the low ribs. Doesn't it feel so good just to go here? Allowing the spine to settle, the torso to settle, the body to be a little heavy to the floor. Give over your weight and allow the support of the floor, the support of the earth to meet you. As our morning liturgy says every day, HaMechadesh betuvo b'chol yom tamid, that God renews us in God's goodness every day, b'chol yom tamid, always, again and again. There's a renewal of breath, a renewal of strength. Each day, a new day to explore, especially if we're in health, relative health. What a blessing. Each moment, a new breath to explore. So that's what we're here for in practice. Starting to feel the expansion and contraction of the rib cage, of the diaphragm. And then extend the legs if it's okay for you. And extend the arms above your head if it's okay for you, in kind of what I call a starfish position, an X, legs wide as the mat, arms wide as the mat. Think of this X going across your body from fingertips to toes, making an X, and the center of that X is your navel. It's right in the middle. So from the radiance of the navel, we're going to expand and contract just like a starfish. Inhaling, fill the belly, the ribs, the upper chest, extend through the fingertips and the toes. And at the top, just hold for a moment. Oh, and then exhale, allow things to come back towards the center, towards the navel. And then just take a breath or two. Pause. Again, surrender the weight of the body to the floor. And once again, inhaling, navel, belly, rib cage, upper chest, extend fingers, point the toes, hold a moment, and then exhale. Let it all come back toward the center. Couple of breaths to recover and to resettle. And then one last time, inhale, belly, ribs, upper chest, extend, 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 hold. And then exhale, let it all go. Melt, melt to the floor. Bring the legs back toward each other. Hug the right knee in toward the chest. Left leg can be extended long, or the left knee can be bent, sole of the foot on the floor, whichever you prefer. Inhale at the navel. Exhale, draw the navel to the spine. Make a long curve with your body as you bring forehead toward the knee. Nice C curve, stretch, hold it there. If you want a little more, you can even lift that left leg off the floor. And then relax everything back down to the floor. Take your right knee cradled in your right hand or right elbow. And just make some movement. Your knee may be pushed into that ball and socket hip joint. Move those synovial fluids. Friends, I'm sorry to say, but as we age, we get a little more brittle in the body. You may have noticed this. So it's really good to stay in movement. This is a wonderful way to do that on a daily basis. Send that left leg up toward the ceiling. Cradle the back of your left thigh in your hands and let the leg really fall into the hands. Point and flex through that right foot. So you can extend the leg straight or you can keep a bend on the right knee as you need. And then make circles with your foot, opening the ankle. Other direction. Squeeze the toes in and spread the toes out. Squeeze the whole foot in, scrunch the toes, extend the whole foot open, spread the toes, and then just shake out the foot. Bend that left knee, place the sole of the foot on the floor. Take figure four. Take the right ankle to the left thigh, just give it a hug. Bringing up some sensation, perhaps for the right outer hip, the buttock, maybe the inner leg as well. You decide how much sensation, right? You control it by how much you bring the left leg in. And then release. And we'll take the whole thing on the other side. Hug the left knee toward the chest. Again, right knee can be bent or the leg can be long. From the navel, inhale and expand the belly. Exhale, navel to spine, long round curve. Bring the forehead toward the knee. You can even lift the right leg off the floor and point the toe, just engaging the abs and really opening that whole spine, long curve. So neck is easy, head is easy. It's just coming from abdominal work. And then release down to the floor. Take the left knee in the left hand. And again, circles or a little in and out across the body. You decide. Just move as you like to start to sense, feel, and open in that left hip socket. Send the left leg up toward the ceiling. Clasp behind the thigh. Take the opposite clasp with the hands. So move the webbing of the hands one over. That might feel a little weird and uncomfortable. It's just good to change out of our habit. Let the thigh drop back into the hands. Point and flex through the foot. Make circles with the foot opening through the ankle. Other direction. Good. And then scrunch the toes, pull the foot in. Extend the foot open, spread like sunlight. Spread the toes, scrunch it in, squeeze, spread out, shake the foot. Good. And then figure four, bend the right knee, sole the foot to the floor, cross the left leg over, ankle just below the right knee on the thigh, and draw the whole thing in, thread the arms through. Light flex on that left foot. And notice how this is on the second side. Again. HaMechadesh betuvo bechol yom tamid. God is renewing in goodness every single day, always, again and again. Each side not symmetrical, right? A little bit different. Different each day, different each side. So we can stay attentive from moment to moment to see what we're working with. And then lastly, release and give the knees a hug in any way you like. Knees can be together or wide. You can take the knees in circles. You can rock side to side. If your lower back needs some massage, take the kneecaps to the hands and just make circles as you outline the sacrum. little awareness of the low back. And you can continue with this exploration as you like, if you like, while I'm talking, or you can find your way up to a comfortable seat, whatever you like. I'm going to just share for the next few minutes some words of teaching of Torah. So it's really nice that it's March 17th and also the 17th of Adar. Very easy for us to remember. And as I said, we're in the second to final portion of the book of Shmot, a book of Exodus, Vayakhel. These final parshiot discussing the building of the Mishkan, the place of holiness, the space of God's, of the divine presence for the Israelites as they move through the desert. So we're finishing up the book of Shmot, and we're also, as I mentioned at the beginning, moving from winter to spring. Believe it or not, the equinox is this Thursday, and that means that's the first day of spring. Depending on what the weather is where you live, it's the first day of spring on Thursday. So in both Torah and in nature, we're just noting that we're coming to some completion, some change. We just had Parshat Ki Tisa, which concerned with the golden calf, the doubt in Moses' leadership, and a rupture in the trust between Bnei Israel and Moses and God, and the golden calf, the breaking of the tablets. And so now in these two final parshiot, we're working on repair and renewal of the covenant that the Israelites will have. So the portion opens with a reminder to observe rest on the seventh day, to observe Shabbat. And we're concerned with completing the Mishkan and bringing all, the Israelites are instructed to bring forth all their gifts. One more time, just like we saw in Parshat Truma, this inviting of gifts, of linens, of skins, of gold and silver and copper, etc., towards building the Mishkan. This time it says, bring me'itchem, from yourselves, truma, khu, take from among you gifts to the Lord. And there's an addition of that word, me'itchem, which we didn't see in Parshat Truma. And then it says, khu me'itchem truma l'Adonai, kol nediv libo. Everyone whose hearts so move them. The word for generosity is nedivut, or nedivut lev. So bring generously gifts. Bring chacham lev, says all who are skilled, but literally that means the intelligence of the heart. We have many phrases. It goes on and it goes on. And it's interesting to note that the word lev, the word for heart, is repeated in this very short, brief portion of Vayakhel, a total of 14 times. It's really a lot. So bring forth from your hearts gifts. And of course, Bezalel is chosen, the skilled craftsman, to oversee the building. And in fact, the Israelites bring so many gifts that they bring too many gifts. And Moses has to tell them to stop. The people are bringing more than is needed for the tasks entailed in the work that Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh has commanded to be done. So Moses sends a proclamation out, let no man or woman make further effort toward gifts for the sanctuary. So the people stopped bringing. Their efforts had been more than enough for all the tasks to be done. Amazing, isn't it? When people give more than their share and the offerings come straight from the heart. So our practice today is about opening the heart, contacting the heart. Divut lev, chokhmat lev. Going to open our hearts a little bit, literally. And it's about building the Mishkan within, building the inner sacred space, which is, of course, synonymous with yoga, right? Coming to this mat, this place, again and again, it's a process, it's a practice of building inner sacred space. Why? Not for just ego or sense of self, but so that we can take this out into our actions in the world, so that we can be strong for others and strong for the work that we are called toward. and do what's needed. Do what's needed. So wherever you are, coming to space on your mat here, take your blocks. You could also, we're going to bring the elbows to the blocks and open through the armpits, the triceps, but you could also do this on a chair or table if you want, or you could also do it directly on the mat. Just the little lift is kind of helpful. So you're going to take your elbows. Oh, the blocks are on the lowest level and they're vertical. And you're going to take the elbows to the tops of the blocks. And they're roughly shoulder width apart. However, if your shoulders are very tight, you'll make the blocks and your elbows a little bit wider. You can take your palms together, walk the knees back a little bit, and then you start to lengthen the tailbone back and melt the heart. When I say melt the heart, I mean the space between the shoulder blades, let it drop. So palms can be together, or the palms can come to the back and rest in that space between the shoulder blades, whichever feels more comfortable to you. But the spine is in one long line. Tailbone, pubic bone dragging back, armpits, triceps, lengthening, opening. Don't overdo. Really notice, work with yourself where you are, as you are. Shoulder work can be kind of intense, especially if we don't do much of it. We get tighter if we sit all day. And if you're feeling nothing, likely you want to bring your elbows a little closer together. Be here and breathe. Let the heart melt and soften. And then as you're ready, come on up. Move the blocks to the side for a moment. Good. We're going to be on all fours. If it's not so fun on your wrists, you can move the mat, roll up the mat a little bit to give a little lift, lessen the angle at the wrist. It's one option, or you can use the blanket for that. You could stand on your fists and really try to pull the weight and the energy up out of the wrists rather than sending it down. Good. So from here, inhale the right leg back. Draw the navel toward the spine, and then exhale, curl, take the knee to the nose. So nice cat curl. Inhale and extend. You can bring a little arch to it if you want, but I like to work at neutral, at least first. Exhale, draw the navel towards the nose. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl, really allow the navel to come toward the spine. Inhale, lengthen, and then this time we're going to exhale and cross the right leg behind us to the left. Tuck the toes under, toes are on the floor, and take the gaze over the left shoulder, taking a little C curve, side stretch. The more you lift the knee and send the heel back, the more you're going to also feel it in the hip, in the iliac crest, top of the hip there in the front, or deep into the psoas. So you'll see that. And then bring the knee forward, bend the knee, take a couple of circles. Fire up the hip, the buttock, and the other direction. Good. On the other side, inhale the left leg back. And exhale, knee to nose, curling the spine. Inhale, lengthen back. Continuing to draw navel towards the spine and support your back as you go. Exhale, curl, curve. Inhale, lengthen back. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lengthen back. And then exhale, draw the left leg over to the right. And take a look over your right shoulder, opening up the left side of the body and the left hip. And again, you can keep the knee kind of bent, or you can really send the heel, the knee up, knee straight, and the heel back. See what works for you. Good. And then come on back. Let's inhale the right leg back behind us. And then exhale, once again, curl, knee to nose. Oh, wait, I goofed on this. Take your, helps if you have some height on the blocks. Take the hands to the blocks. Inhale the leg back. Exhale, take knee to nose, and then without touching the toes to the mat, if you can, step it forward. Good. And you can even do this on the highest. So what I'm getting at looks like this. Inhale, and then exhale. We're engaging the abs to come forward. Good. Once you get here, we're just working to open the hips, the quads, the hip flexors, a little bit forward and back with the hips. Good. Tuck the back toes. If you like, lift up, low lunge. And then release the knee back down and come back to all fours. So we'll take the other side. So you can be now on the mid-level or the upper level with the blocks. Now you know what I'm going for here with this, right? We're trying to fire up the center as we come through. So inhale, left leg back. Exhale, it's a little bit of a curl, abs engaged, foot doesn't touch the floor if we can help it, and coming forward into the lunge. You can try it again if you like, a time or two. Just see how this action goes for you. Settle the hips, little rocking forward and back. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Lengthen from the right heel to the crown of the head. Inhale, fill the shape that you are. Exhale, step the right foot forward, fold over the legs. Take the blocks a little bit in front of you. I'm on the highest level here. This will depend on your own personal hamstrings. And feet hip width apart. Engage the quads by lifting up on the knees. Draw the thighs back. Draw the spine into length. We call this flat back. Good. We're gonna again really use the abs the core as we come up from here. So if you'd like, you always can come up by rolling up, right? So just want to offer that option. But if this works for you, take the hands to the hips, draw the navel to the spine, press into the feet, inhale and lift up. Exhale, ground your feet and pause. Good. We're going to take a sun salute. So this, I like to, once we hit the middle of March, once we hit the equinox, like to get the body moving a little bit, get the cobwebs out a little bit. Inhale, the arms come out and up overhead. Exhale and dive forward over the legs. You can take the hands to the blocks. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold, step the right foot back, take the knee down to the floor. Inhale, take the arms up. And exhale, bring them down to the mat. You can move the blocks aside, step it back, plank pose, or knees down, plank pose, and lower down to the floor. In any way you like. Take the hands in place by the sides of the chest, draw the elbows in. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale can be child pose or long puppy or downward facing dog. What I'm doing is what I call long puppy. Good. And then from here, we're going to step the right foot forward. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, step forward. Fold. Inhale, roll up or come up with a flat back, arms overhead. That's one big inhale. And exhale, the palms to the heart. Pause here for a breath or two. We're going to take it again, slightly different variation. Let the breath rate return to normal. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale, fold, coming over the legs. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, step that right foot back. Knee can be down or knee can be up. Good. From here, either high lunge or knee to the floor like we just did. It's called Anjaneyasana, but I don't actually know how you say it in English. And then we're going to exhale and open out to warrior two. Pause here a breath or two. And just find your alignment, find your place. Turn the left palm to face up. Inhale, lift up, reverse warrior, opening the ribs, opening the armpit. Exhale, cartwheel the whole thing around, both arms come around and step it back in any way you like, right? Knees up or knees down, and then lower down to the floor. Inhale, small cobra, extend through the toes. And exhale, again, child or long puppy or downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, if you like, you can take that right foot back behind you. Exhale, step it forward. We're coming forward. Again, it's either knee down or it's knee up to a high lunge. Inhale here, and then exhale, open out, warrior two. Pause here and breathe. Turn the right palm to face up. Inhale, lift up, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the arms around, frame the right foot and step it forward. Inhale, coming up, rolling up or flat back. Arms up. Exhale the palms to the heart. Wonderfully done. Pause here, take a hand to the heart and a hand to the belly. And you can even take your hand and just gently rub the heart space. Just awakening the wisdom of the heart, the presence of the heart, right? Knowing I'm alive in the emotional space, the creative space. Soft, smooth, steady breaths. Bringing forth all the skills of the heart to build the Mishkan. It's not so easy in these challenging times. And then when you're ready, release the hands. You can move your blocks away. I'm going to take the legs wide and take goddess pose. I love this one. The toes turn out and are directed toward the corners of the mat. Let's take the hands to the hips and just start by bending the knees and letting the tailbone just drop on this plumb line of center and seeing the tracking of the knees go over the toes, right? So we don't want the knees to fall inward. If that's happening, you might just lessen your stance a little bit. Give some opening to the inner line of the leg. So just coming up and down a couple times. You can have the hands on the hips, or you can even take your hands along that, along the thighs. Kind of feels very nice as you go. Just giving yourself a little gentle touch, a little care, warming up the muscles a little bit. Just seeing that there's no pain or strain. We don't want any of that in the knees. And then you'll see if or how the breath starts to coordinate, right? I like an inhale on the descent and an exhale coming up, but others like it the opposite way. So just see what your body naturally goes to. Good. And then come on up. And again, hands can be on the hips, or maybe there's goalpost arms. Take an inhale here, and let's exhale and just come down and stay. So arms can stay up, arms can be here, however you like. Let's find a soft gazing point. Helps to turn up the corners of the mouth as you start to build some heat. Ah, building strength. Try to stay a breath or two past what's comfortable. So we want to push in our practice a little bit past our comfort zone, not to pain, but just start to expand where we hit our edge and gain some strength. Ooh, and when you're done, straighten through the legs, come on up. Give it a little shake out. And we're going to come to the floor to a little pose that's affectionately known as heart bench. You're going to take your blocks, and an alternate way that you can do it if you don't have blocks or you don't like this one is one we do often called, that I call anyway, the jelly roll, where you take your blanket and you fold it, you make a roll and you put it horizontally and you lay down over it, kind of on the lower third of the shoulder blades, get a nice heart opening. So that's an alternative. Let me show you this one. The first block is going vertically in the middle, right in the center of the mat. And then the second block is for your head. It goes horizontally above it. So you're making kind of a T with these blocks. They don't touch each other. There's space between them. And the important thing to know is that they're on different heights. So it's either lowest height, middle height, or it's middle height, highest height, if you want a little more back bend, a little more opening and backward extension. I'm going to model it for you on the lower level here. And also, if your blocks are a little harder, or if your spine is sensitive, you can also place your blanket over this setup to give yourself a little bit of cushion to it. So again, this block is vertical, and this block is horizontal. The higher one for your head, it's up one level higher. The next important thing to know is this block is hitting me right at the base of the rib cage. So if you don't know where that is, actually palpate your own back, your own rib cage. Find your bottom ribs, right? And that's where you're going to hit the block, right? So it's also supporting my shoulder blades. And then I come back and I grab that block and I make sure it's solid on the bottom as it comes to support my head. Right, so here's what I've got with the heart opening, shining forth here, shining up. And then the palms should face up so that the fronts of the shoulders can open a little bit. The shoulder blades can rest on the back. So the arms can be out at a little diagonal here. That can be very nice. If you don't prefer that, you can place the hands, palms down on the rib cage. If you want a little more, you can hold opposite elbows and take it overhead. And that gives a little more length and stretch and opening for the rib cage. So you decide, we're going to stay here several minutes. And knees can be, you've got three choices for the legs. Knees can be bent. Soles of the feet can be together with the knees out to the side. Or legs can be long to the floor. So you can decide what works best for you, what works best for your own body. And then when you arrive, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to close my eyes. I invite you to go inward, either closing your eyes or just softening your gaze a little bit. But before I stop talking, I want to tell you that this is a beautiful pose to do to wake yourself up. Backward extensions tend to wake us up, but this is in a restorative mode, restorative position in the sense that it's not an activated back bend, it's a passive back bend. We're supported in this open position, this back bend. It's a wonderful thing to do if you spend too much time sitting or at a computer. It's a wonderful thing to do in this time of changing seasons as we want to open the lung meridians and the respiratory system. So we're opening the rib cage, we're giving more space to the lungs. A really beautiful position. Okay, now I'll stop talking. Just stay here, be attentive to your breath, and if there's any pain, change your position or come off the blocks. Okay. You can come off the blocks one of two ways. You could either roll to the side and remove the blocks, or you can roll up, press into the forearms and come on up, move the blocks to the side. Full disclosure, I really almost forgot you were all here. I was so relaxed. I don't think that's really ever happened before. Lay yourself back down. Good. And just find a neutral spine again. And we'll settle into Shavasana, to stillness, final relaxation. But before we do, just take any last movements that feel good. You may want to twist to even out the back bending, or just a windshield wiper of the knees side to side, or maybe you're ready for stillness. And when you are, just laying yourself out flat on your back, palms up. You could take one suggestion that's really lovely is that you could take the blanket under your head and you could take the blocks under your knees or your thighs with a little support and come down like this. Couple moments of total stillness to allow the nervous system to receive and begin to integrate the lessons that we've and the movement that we've offered. And I'll be right back to bring you out. Just taking some stillness and quiet. Begin to deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And take all the time you need to come up to a seated position. As we move toward putting seal, a khatima, on our practice, with a tall spine and an open heart, bringing to mind anyone who needs healing, Rufuat hanefesh, Rufuat haguf, healing of the soul space or the body space. Might even include yourself if you need healing. You might say their name out loud in your space or just whisper to yourself. Send them healing energy. Anyone in your family, your friends, your community, and even out to strangers, people you don't know, for healing across the planet. Every Monday and Thursday included in our liturgy is a prayer for all captives to be released. We bring to mind the hostages remaining in Gaza, though they're less in the news in these weeks. A little bit since the releases. We're in a tender, fragile time. We join together for the prayer Achenu Kol Beit Yisrael, and I invite you either to join me with words and singing or to just listen and hold this in your heart. Rachel will bring it up on the screen for us. Of course, along with the Chatufim, we pray for all those in Gaza who are suffering, innocent civilians. Achenu kol Beit Yisrael, Achyoteinu kol Beit Yisrael, Hanetunim betzara uvashivya, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם עליהם, ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה, ומאפלה לאורה, ומשעבוד לגאולה, השתה בגלה, ובזמן קריב. השתה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. Thank you all for practicing today. Sorry, I took a few more minutes of your time. So if you have to run, I understand. If you can stay, please join us for Q&A. And again, please do check out my retreat at Kripalu with Rabbi Sheila Peltz-Weinberg, our Omer course, and of course, the space for Jews of color, sharing Torah this Wednesday. Thanks so much for being with us.